What's going on, guys? I wanted to make a quick video on wrapped Bitcoin specifically, covering how it works, what it's for, how it isn't decentralized, and how it could be decentralized in the near future with some of the new tools that have been created over the past year. If you're not aware, wrapped Bitcoin is specifically for bringing the liquidity of Bitcoin into the Ethereum and DeFi space, specifically it's people want to use it within the DeFi space on Ethereum. And it's kind of a one-to-one mapping of the tokens. So on Ethereum, there's an ERC20 token that is mapped one-to-one with a Bitcoin on the Bitcoin blockchain. And it's actually done through a custodial model. So it is currently a centralized system, which is a weak point, obviously, for DeFi, because anything in DeFi, you really want it to be decentralized. And when you actually have a token that has a custodian attached to it, that could actually be a point of failure if that custodian has the tokens confiscated or anything happens because there's a custodian there. Actually, I'll start here. So just kind of going over, basically, the Kyber network actually was the group that really was on the forefront of making this happen. And obviously a lot of other organizations are involved. BitGo is another big one. But just kind of see here, BitGo, Kyber Network, Ren, and other partners have collaborated to bring liquidity of Bitcoin to the Ethereum network. The WBTC initiative is run by a decentralized autonomous organization made up of 16 established projects, including recognizable open finance names such as Dharma, Compound, Maker, and Set Protocol. BitGo handles the initial custody, and Kyber and Ren supplied the initial liquidity by dipping into their own Bitcoin holdings. First announced on October 26, 2018, WBTC officially launched on the Ethereum mainnet on January 30th, 2019. The launch press release notes that all smart contracts have passed several security audits. Also, users can verify on-chain that the correct amount of Bitcoin reserves exist. It's early days for WBTC, but people are optimistic that many new use cases will emerge now that the vast liquidity of Bitcoin can be leveraged on Ethereum. And then quickly, how does it work? One token corresponds to exactly one BTC. Users can swap their Bitcoin for WBTC through any of the 8 initial merchants: Dharma, Kyber, Set Protocol, GoPax, AirSwap, Pricto, Ren, and Etfinex. To do so, the user must first undergo KYC/AML, that's Know Your Customer, anti-money laundering, to verify his or her identity. Next, the merchant supplies Bitcoin to the custodian, which is BitGo, who mints an equal amount of WBTC. Also, merchants can redeem Bitcoin by burning WBTC tokens. Traders who don't want to go through the swapping process can buy it on numerous DEXs and centralized exchanges. So this is the basics of wrapped Bitcoin, why it was created. Obviously, we do want the liquidity of Bitcoin on Ethereum, but there's only so much liquidity as there is wrapped Bitcoin that's created. And as you can see here, there is, as of today, there is, in US dollars, we got $5.775 million worth of wrapped Bitcoin locked in WBTC. So this came out in February because it was just launching. But back in April of 2018, they were kind of discussing it and kind of going over the two different models. So the trusted custodian model, which is the model they went with, and then also the trustless custodian model using a smart contract. So you can see that just the visualization here. The trusted custodian model, you have a user that deposits Bitcoin with the custodian. Obviously, this user has KYC and anti-money laundering, know your customer, anti-money laundering, ID verification done. The custodian then creates it's called BTCT here, but it's wrapped Bitcoin. Obviously, that's what it turned into. And then that goes and creates the ERC20 token with the equivalent deposited BTC in the Bitcoin wallet that can be verified that there is the right amount in each side of the blockchain. So on the Ethereum side with the ERC20 token, and on the Bitcoin side with the with Bitcoins in the Bitcoin wallet. So the other method is using trustless with a smart contract. And back in 2018, they were actually saying that it was just something that they thought could happen in practice, but it still requires a centralized entity to act as that's the above solution. So they're talking about using BTC Relay, which is a Bitcoin light client running within the Ethereum-based an Ethereum-based smart contract. BTC Relay allows Ethereum smart contracts to verify Bitcoin transactions and thus enabling on-chain entities to check if a payment on the Bitcoin network actually happened. So using something like BTC Relay, they were envisioning that they could actually, since Ethereum is pretty much a VM, they could run a Bitcoin light client on Ethereum and make it all happen there. But it still requires a trustless third party, that will prepare initial capital to facilitate the issuance and redemption of the BTCT, of the wrapped Bitcoin. This initial capital will be the required security deposit before users deposit their Bitcoin. So there are still, even though it's more decentralized, or I should say trustless, it's not very decentralized because they're still using this kind of crazy model of having a trustless custodian that would then mint the tokens. So here's a visualization of it. User deposits Bitcoin. It is actually showing a refund model. Because if it didn't work out, then they would get a refund. So user deposits Bitcoin. Custodian didn't create the wrapped Bitcoin. 3, the challenge from the custodian with the proof of deposit using the smart contract. They see that verify proof of deposit and penalize the custodian using the BTC Relay. And then the user gets refunded because the trustless custodian did not create the wrap Bitcoin like they were supposed to. So in a way, it kind of adds a checks and balances with Ethereum for creating the token, the wrap Bitcoin token, but it's still not quite what we need to access the full liquidity of Bitcoin in DeFi. And that's where something like Ren comes in. So Ren is not really a blockchain. They're not really calling themselves a blockchain, but a bunch of nodes that run the Ren VM. And its goal is basically, says it right here, the first and only open protocol that provides access to inter-blockchain liquidity for all decentralized applications. And they have a specific point here in their Q&A on why it's different than WBTC. So how is Ren's interoperability solution different to that of wrapped Bitcoin? The Ren interoperability solution is a standalone initiative developed in-house by the Ren team. It is a separate solution to that of wrapped Bitcoin. Wrapped Bitcoin utilizes a centralized custodian model. BitGo serves as the authority which mints and burns Bitcoin to create the wrapped Bitcoin and then distributes it via a set of merchants, which are exchanges, to disseminate, and RenX, which is them, one of their exchanges, being one of them. However, only BitGo has the ability to mint and burn wrapped Bitcoin. It is therefore a centralized permission custodial model for wrapping Bitcoin and bringing it into the DeFi ecosystem. Ren's VMs removes the need for a centralized custodian, which mean anyone or any DeFi app can mint and burn Bitcoin or any other digital asset seamlessly. This allows DeFi applications to plug the Ren VM solution into their existing smart contract infrastructure, which allows individuals to send real Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to DeFi applications using users never have to worry about minting or burning when interacting with a dApp. It is therefore a permissionless, trustless system which allows for fluid movement of cross-chain assets in and out of the DeFi ecosystem. So it's not just Bitcoin. Any other cryptocurrency can utilize the same model. So it's like middleware to allow the liquidity of these other cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin being the big one, to actually work seamlessly in the DeFi ecosystem without having to go through this custodial model with the way that wrapped Bitcoin works at the moment, which is kind of a weak point. With this said, the wrapped Bitcoin model can utilize our decentralized custodian model to mint and burn wrapped Bitcoin if they choose to allow a permissionless custodianship of wrapped Bitcoin. We will not show favoritism or preference, most likely because they're involved with the DAO. As our solution is permissionless, anyone who would like to utilize our interoperability capabilities can do so. We help build and continue to support the Wrap Bitcoin initiative because it allows the adoption of Bitcoin on Ethereum today. As the ecosystem grows, we will, of course, see many different types of solutions for different use cases. Some people like or even require custodians, and Wrap Bitcoin will continue to serve this part of the market. RenVM will open the way for truly permissionless and decentralized interoperability. So they're kind of treading the line here because obviously they created this solution that allows them to bring the liquidity of Bitcoin into DeFi and the Ethereum ecosystem. But at the same time, they're involved with the Wrap Bitcoin initiative. So it's kind of a gray area for them, a touchy area that they have to walk that line. But they like they said here, anybody can make this stuff work. So if somebody wants to tie the full liquidity of Bitcoin into the DeFi ecosystem using Ren, then you can make it happen. I'll have the links to everything I went over in the description. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please share it. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. That's all I got. Thanks.